So I hope that's answered a lot of your questions for having a wolf cut and fine hair. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. So today's video is probably the biggest comment or the most frequent comment that I get given on these wolf cut videos. So does a wolf cut suit fine hair? Or I've got fine hair, can I wear a wolf cut? So today I'm going to be showing you. So I've picked the thinnest mannequin head that I've got, and to make it even thinner, I'm just going to run through this middle section and take away a little bit more weight so you can see, but you can already see that this is really quite fine. This was a blonde mannequin, and this has a mixture of Joico intensities on it, so it's got a really bright pink and then a soft pink mixed together, and it's just a beautiful colour. We just wanted to bring, just to try it out really, mixing them both together. This was on a level, 9 mannequin, untoned. So yeah, you can see that colour. It's beautiful. So, the biggest question I get asked is, will a wolf cut suit fine hair? I want to show you today. So, I just want to make this a little bit thinner for all you fine haired girls out there. Soft cuts, and I'm just going to literally work from that root and just take away a bit more hair, just to make it a bit thinner, just to show you that you can wear a wolf cut if you've got finer hair. I'm just working this mid band in just because, to take some of the bulk away from underneath, but so it makes the hair a bit thinner. And then what we'll do, we'll just do one more through the ends there, make it even thinner, and then another one through the ends there. Right, just going to brush out all that hair. I'll get this mannequin head wet down, sectioned out, and then we're going to cut a wolf cut on fine or thin hair. Central parting. First section I'm going to be putting in is to make sure we get a fringe. Wolf cuts are renowned for having these big heavy bangs, fringes areas. If you haven't got a lot of hair, you need to be quite careful with this. So what I'm going to do, where the flat of the head is there, see that through there, that is going to be my point to come from there, and I just want to come to the corner of the brow. So that's from there, follow through corner of the brow, and again, corner of the brow. That will give us enough fringe or density to be able to put a nice sort of fringe in there. But we're just conscious of not having lots of hair to work with. Another section or obstacle you might come across is you need this sort of heaviness through here, and if you take that layer up a lot, you're going to end up with not a lot of density down the bottom, so we have to make sure that we're maintaining some of the density around the bottom. Now what we would normally do section pattern is probably take just a horseshoe section to make sure we're going to isolate through this top piece, start putting in the texture, the heaviness, and then falling through. We will do the same, but what we're going to do is we're going to zigzag it. So we're going to come down, and what this will do, if you just have a look at that section first off, is we're going to dip into the length, but we're going to be maintaining quite a bit of it because we're going to be working higher. And you can see there on that section, let me just spin it around. We've got it dips in there, but we'll go right up into here. If we were normally sort of section off that section through there, the horseshoe, we'd be working around the parietal ridge, the curvature of the head, but we've actually dipped right up into there to make sure that we're keeping a bit more density down that bottom. We are going to trim it up, and then we come down, and I'm going to go right up, back up into that section through the top, and then we'll come down, and then we'll go back up into that section, Excuse my sniffing if you catch it, if I don't edit it out. Hay fever is crazy today. So that's the sectioning pattern I'm going to pop all the way around, so you can see it goes up, down, up, down, up, down. And we're maintaining quite a bit of weight through there. And what we want to be making sure is that we dip, or we I suppose we don't dip. We go up into that top section to make this top section smaller, so we're maintaining length or density, should I say, around the perimeter. That's our number one. And to be honest, with it being sort of symmetrical and everything like that, it doesn't have to be overly symmetrical, because we're working with zigzags, so we want it to sort of be quite irregular and melt in. Just making sure that we're keeping the density on both sides quite similar. Just want to make sure as well that we don't really come past the curvature of the head. So we're just coming in one there and then one there, which is pretty balanced. And if anybody knows where to get a really good mannequin stand from, because I've bought literally every single one, this is a pivot point one. And yeah, expensive, but again, they're just off. Really frustrating. So I'll just show you there. There's the sectioning pattern, just working around the head in zigzag section. Reason 4 is because when we come down, we're losing density, but when we're going back up, we're holding on to density and length through there. So that's the sectioning pattern. I'm not going to put the length in just yet, because I want to see how this sort of develops and sort of falls over. Because if somebody came with finer hair, they would be sort of cautious of putting layers in, too much layering. They'd also be cautious of, I don't want to lose too much length. That's a lot of sort of client experiences that I have. And looking at that, I can tell that we need a good trim, as we say. So what I want to do first, I just want to, let me just pull this away. We want to just put in that shape around the face that you get with Wolfcuts. And I'm just sectioning just behind the ear. Okay, just there. So we're basically just wanting to bring this all forward, because with the Wolfcuts, how they have this shape through here, I just want to put a bit of that in to begin with. Bring it straight up and out. So we're elevating, and then I'm just going to take off those ends that seemed a little bit weak. But because we're elevating and over directing this away, we're going to be putting in some of the shape, but we're going to be maintaining the length. So you can see there's already a bit of shape through there. Same again, I'm just putting in that little bit of shape through there. So you can see again, got that little bit of sort of graduation as such, layering through there, just around the face. Those Wolfcuts start around about here and then they taper back, which is why I'm not going to touch the back just yet. I want there to be that exaggerated length. Now the top, really nice and simple. So we're just going to section out the underneath so I don't grab any of it, because we want to maintain all of that we've sort of held on to. So basically the high point of the head is what I'm looking for. I'm just going to throw that back, throw that back. So we've just got this front section that we can work with. Because the hair isn't that thick, and when we're looking at those ends that need coming off, we're going to compound cut. So we're going to be cutting. So we're going to be cutting in one go. Just making sure that we've got even tension. We're just going to bring forward. And again, the weak hair that you can see through there, that's what I want to be taking off. And we're elevating and bringing it all to the middle, because what that's going to do is again maintain length. But elevating is just softening off. And look, because the hair is so fine, we're not going to be getting heavy sort of lines when it comes to cutting hair, which can be creating softness, because we've elevated enough to create that softness. And all I'm doing now is just point cutting into there. So the hair that's in the middle here is going to be shorter, and then as it falls out, you can see got all that shape through there. And then how I'm going to find my guide for the back section is I'm just going to take a bit from the front that we just cut, which is this through here. I'm going to work in 3 sections because this is quite a big section. So I'm just going to take a good inch section through that middle. There's my guide from the front, if you can see these little bits of hair here. And I could take it up to the ceiling. So there would be my guide, and I'd be taking off this. But I wouldn't really be losing that much from the back. I want there to be that Wolfcut sort of vibe. So I'm still going to elevate to create softness. But I'm just going to pull straight out and then find my guide, which is there, so you can see. I'm going to cut from my guide for the length. And what that does is it will just create a little bit more shortness through this point here where I'm working. Because if I was to take it up to the ceiling now, it goes from shorter to longer, and that's what we want. So let's just grab the other side, and we're just going to bring this into the middle. So we're going to maintain length around the perimeter, but we're going to do the same angle. There. Elevating, create softness. Point cutting, create softness. We're just going to grab the last piece of the section, and we're going to mimic what we did here, pushing up into that middle, same finger angle through there. You can see there's hardly any hair that needs to come off. So let's take our clips out. I'm going to get it blow dried, styled with all this texture in here. But first, let's just brush this back. I'm going to put the fringe in. You should be able to see, got all of that texture and weight in there. Let's show you from the back. As soon as we start to style this out, we've got the shape from the front that we've already put in, and we've just got this weighty section on top that tapers out. And then these pieces here will just refine and just be taking those off freehand, just to put in a bit of a stronger perimeter through there. And then when it comes to being dried, we can see how it's all behaving. And then we can put in a stronger baseline if we want to, or we can leave it. Now for the fringe. So again, if this client was real, I'd be tucking the hair behind the ears, or just getting a clip. Pop that there. Let's take that out. We want to find a guide in that middle, and this will be preference, so this will be talking between you and your client, but we're going to find a point where we want to cut it that will work best for the client, work best for the haircut, so it doesn't disconnect too much, but so there's a bit of a blend. But I think perfect sitting on that nose for that first guide, and then when it's sort of parted or worn a little bit heavier, you'll have it all cascading around about the cheekbones. So first off, let's put a guide in on that nose, just there. We're now just going to grab a central section, so you can see there, finger angle. There's my guide, and we're just going to point cut back. Again, to create softness. Bring this side up into it, pushing it in to that middle. If you want to exaggerate a bit more, you can push right over to this side if you want to. But when we're working today's look, to to get the perfect balance, we're going to bring it to that middle. And look, you can already see that beautiful shape that's falling through there. Grabbing this side, we're going to pull it up to middle section. Same finger angle, same cutting technique. Point up. You can already see that balance. So I'm going to get this blow dried, get it styled, and you'll join me when it's all ready to show you. You can see you've got a nice weighty fringe in there. You've got a nice bit of disconnection and layer, so you can get that real wolfy sort of vibe. It's just the length. Now this is something we addressed at the beginning. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to freehand around until I'm happy with the density, because we've kept a bit of it there and you've got that wolf sort of shape, but I just think just to make it look a bit healthier, we just need to freehand some of that length away. The big question I get asked as well is what scissors and that do I use? I use Alpha Italia. So these are the 5.5 inch. You've seen my 6s, you've seen, is it 6.5 actually? Are they 6.5? Yeah, 6.5. And then I've got my Evos. And I've got my soft cuts. And then all my combs and everything are all Alpha Italia. My hairdryer, my brushes, apart from my Denman. My Denman is a Kent brush. So all I'm doing now is just freehanding in the perimeter, because I don't want it to look, I want it to look a bit wispy, but on purpose. I don't want it to look unhealthy. So I'm just putting in a sort of like a silhouette line that I'll be happy, and the client will be happy with walking out with. Because we don't want it to look as if it's just damaged. We want it to look as if they've had a haircut and it's something on purpose. So there is a bit of density down that bottom still. You've got all that layer and everything in there, which I'm going to refine now. Let's just show you through here. So there's the disconnection in the length. We've kept that there. So on the internal layer that we put in, I'm just going to soften off and add a bit more texture just by point cutting. I'm not doing it to take away weight, I'm doing it to add a bit more texture and sort of scaffolding. Let's just get that behind the ear again. Elevate up. Now, you can see all that texture that's all built into there. That is the Wolfcut for fine hair. Got the fringe there. It's kept a lot of weight in there, you can see. I've got all that texture that can build in through there. And then we've still kept most of the length. I think the client would be happy. But look at that. Super sexy. Product I used was Joyful by Joico, just a volumizing gel. Worked it in, you've seen me wrap dry a little bit, just get it all smooth through here. Mid-lengths and ends, round brushed it, just to give it a little bit of oomph. But look at that. Lovely. So I hope that's answered a lot of your questions for having a wolf cut and fine hair. This mannequin is probably the thinnest hair I've ever had on a mannequin, and I thinned it out as well. So I just wanted to bring you this. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. If there's a pressing issue, or you're going to a salon and you're not quite getting what you want, let me know in the comments down below and I'll try and help you to help understand. It might be the hairdresser's right, it might be you can't have that, but there might be something you can have. So just that. Hope I can help. But yeah, I love this. Hope you do too, and I'll see you on the next video.